So welcome to this talk. My name is Alex. And in this talk I'd like to discuss with you something extremely beautiful and extremely real as well. I'm going to try and put it into words for you. I walk in the mountains a lot. I live in a very, unpopulated place, and there's lots of space, and I'm in the mountains alone, really high up in the clouds. And I get lots of inspiration, I get lots of understanding. It's almost like God opens my eyes and shows me things and teaches me things about spiritual reality. And so it's very hard. Of course, I then have this inspiration or this impetus to record a talk and share this information with you, share the things that God has shown me. But in the middle of that process is me trying to put into words something so profound and something which is almost impossible to put into words. But I'm still compelled to share with you the wisdom or share with you the beauty of this understanding. So I will do my best to put it into words so that you can use it in a practical way. So you can reorientate yourself in the direction of what you really need. So you can get all your needs met, spiritually speaking. Because we do have spiritual needs. Of course, we all know that we've got material, physical needs. Our body, it needs to eat, it needs to drink, it needs to sleep, it needs to be active. And it also has emotional needs, like it needs laughter, it needs happiness, it needs play, it needs respect. We have many physical, material, emotional needs which need to be met if we're going to be healthy. But we also have spiritual needs, and they're very different to the material needs, but we still need them as much as we need the physical needs, the material needs. As much as we need food and water and sleep, we need the nourishment that comes from having our mind really focused on the light or joined with the light, having our mind in the light, or having the light in our mind, whichever way you want to see it. This is actually an absolutely crucial need for us. It's something we all need desperately, because we get nourishment. We get spiritual nourishment from the spiritual light that we turn our mind towards, the spiritual light that we let into our heart, the spiritual light which we allow to almost kind of permeate our being. And you can call that spiritual light many names. You can call it God. You can call it Jesus Christ even. But it is the light of God, and it belongs in our being. It belongs in our heart. It belongs in our mind. Our heart and mind were designed by God to house this light, to house the light of Christ, you could say. We have been designed for this. And so that's why it feels so liberating to remember where your attention belongs and to have your focus in the right place, spiritually speaking. Because if your focus is in the wrong place, then many negative things can come from that. If you're looking in the wrong direction, then you are not going to find what it is you truly need if you're looking in the wrong direction. And you're going to find lots of distractions and lots of things which are actually detrimental to you if you look in the wrong direction. So it's really crucial we look in the right direction and understand what it is we need. What do we need spiritually? Well, there is a spiritual light, as I said, that shines brightly. And you can give it any name you want to. But it is real, a very real spiritual light, which is our power source. It is our power source, just like the sun is essentially the power source for our earthly body. The sun creates all the nourishment that goes into our body. It creates the light. It creates everything, all the life. And it also gives us warmth. And warmth is life, by the way. Where there is no warmth, when warmth is completely gone, then life ends very quickly. So we get our physical nourishment from the sun, but we get spiritual nourishment. Our soul gets spiritual nourishment from the light of God, or the light of Christ, if you want. And that's our food source. We need that as much as we need food in our stomachs, So what I want to try and explain to you is what that source is like so that you can know when you found it. Because we're looking, imagine if you never knew the sun, existed, and someone told you that you had to find this beautiful sun that gives you energy and gives you light and warmth and makes all the food grow, and you have to go and find it. Well, if they didn't describe it to you, then you wouldn't be able to find it. But because we know what the sun looks like, and because we know where to look, because if we're looking on the ground for the sun, if we're looking in the bushes for the sun, if we're looking anywhere else other than the sky for the sun, we will miss it. You have to be looking in the right direction. So I thought I'd try and explain to you exactly what it is we're looking for and the nature of it. And so that you can recognize when you've seen it, when you've found it, you can recognize it. And it's very simple. It's very, very simple. Essentially, it is the spirit of love. It's not, I don't know if spirit is even the right word. It's a template of love, but it's a living template of love. In fact, Jesus Christ is the best description for it, because it's not in a human form, it's not in a bodily form, it's in the form of light, and it's God's light, but it's a template that we are designed for. It's like an operating system. This template is designed to kind of fit into our mind, and we operate through that template. The light of God, just like the light of the projector shines through the film reel and projects the images and colours and movement on the screen of a cinema. Well, this template of love, which is very real and which we can focus on, when God's light shines through that, then we are projected. We are experiencing the reality of being here in a body on this planet. It's a bit of a dream, to be honest with you. This is a bit of a dream. This life is a bit of a dream. It's like a projection. It's like God is dreaming, and we are experiencing his dream. We're in his dream. And of course that brings up the question, do we want to wake up? Do we want to wake up? Do we want to realize what this all is and really have our entire view of the world completely, what's the word? I don't know, disintegrated or completely replaced by a divine view. And this is quite a radical thing, and this isn't something that can happen just straight away. It's something that happens slowly, that our perspective on reality changes to a divine perspective. But anyway, I'll go into that later. What I want to focus on is this template of love, this entity of love, which you could call Jesus Christ. But it's the light of God, and it's a template for each one of us. And so when we all turn our mind to that template, when we all consider, okay, so this template, how am I designed to operate in harmony with this template? So how am I meant to think? How does this template want me to think? How is this template encouraging me to feel? How is this template encouraging me to speak? What is in line, what is in harmony with what this template is designed to do? And so, as I said, it's a template of love. And essentially, we are all meant to be focusing on it. Because when we all are focusing on this template, which you could call love, which you could also call God, which you could call Jesus Christ, when you're focusing on this template, then it reprograms your heart. When you're considering how do I operate with this template, it reprograms your heart and mind for love, purely for love. So that all desires for anything other than love are slowly replaced by desires for care, desires for compassion, desires to be sensitive to the needs of others, desires not to be so self-obsessed, desires to be of service to other people. This is what the template of love does to our mind. It gets us thinking in harmony with God. Now, I'm a born-again Christian since the age of 33. I'm 42 years old now. And so, my mind and my heart have been changed by Christ. And I think this is probably the best way of describing it is that the nature of Christ is a model, a model for every human being. You could say Christ is the template. Maybe some other people call it the logos. I'm not quite sure about that, but this is a model. So we follow the lead of this model. We follow the dictates in our mind, in our heart, in our actions and words and behaviour. We follow the model